Good morning, and how are you doing on this lovely Facebook Live Friday where we are talking about the lonely leader syndrome? Ladies, thanks for joining me today. Question for you as you are piling on today's Facebook Live Friday. Do you ever feel alone in your career or business? Do you ever feel like no one gets what you're up to? No one understands truly, what you're all about and what you're creating in your career or business? If that's true, if you relate to that statement, then post a 1 in the comments below. Hey Jenny, thanks for being here today. So that's my question as we kick off today's Facebook Live Friday. Do you ever feel alone in your career or business? Like no one really gets you, like they just don't understand what your vision is and what you are creating. Natalie, it is awesome to see you here today. That's great. I'm just gonna make sure that I can see our comments. Awesome. And you know what? My hair's a little weird today. I'm due for a haircut. And sometimes the Jimmy Neutron swoosh gets a little big, so forgive me for that. Anyway, as you are joining on, ladies, yeah, you made it. Woohoo! It's great to see you here, Natalie. And Julianne, Happy New Year to you as well. So what we're talking about today is this big problem that I see for smart, ambitious, naturally talented women that are creating big results in their business or their career. And it's something that no one is talking about. It leads to women feeling uninspired, isolated, burnt out, and insecure in the work that they are doing. And all of that leads to them not growing or inspiring their team in the way that they want to. Hey, Shannon, thanks for being here. It means they're not making often the money that they desire, and it means that they're not having the impact that they want. What is this big problem? It is the lonely leader syndrome. And before I'm done today, ladies, I'm going to share with you something that I'm so excited about. In fact, I'm kind of giddy, sweaty, tickly, butterfly feelings because it's something I'm going to share with you today that I have been brewing, thinking about for, in fact, years, but I have never done anything about it. And I am about to pull back the curtain and share with you something that I'm really excited about launching in 2018 that you may be interested in. So I'll share that with you before we leave today, okay? Hey, Carissa, you're here as well. Woohoo! We got the high caliber ladies in the house today. Thanks for joining me. If you are joining me for the first time, my name is Heather Petherick, and I am the soul and sass behind the private Facebook group for female business leaders of style, wit, and substance. My clients come to me to help them manage and navigate the inevitable challenges of growing and building and leading a business, whether you're on the corporate side or whether it's your own empire, and to really support them through the emotional challenges that come with leading at a high level and creating big results. Now, it wasn't, when I started my business just over a decade ago as a coach, it wasn't always easy for me. And this lonely leader syndrome really strikes a chord with me personally because I lived it for at least the first 5 years of my business. And why is that? It's because for me personally, I live in a small urban center. It's fairly remote from some bigger centers where there's lots going on. Where I live, when I started, there was no one else doing what I do. And so there were no peers for me to reach out to locally. And from my personality, I tend to have a fairly strong independent streak. Drop a 1 or, drop a 2 in the comments if you relate to this characteristic. I have a fairly independent streak. I've always been seen myself as a bit of a rebel or a maverick. And so, early on, at least in my career, I felt like I really had something to prove because of all of those conditions. So post a 2 if you can relate. Jen says, I feel less lonely because I have you. Oh, fantastic. Natalie, this resonates with you as well. Okay. So I want to really define what is this lonely leader syndrome that I'm talking about. What it is it's where a female business leader or entrepreneur is operating in isolation. And often this is not by design, it often is by default. Carissa, this resonates with you too. Awesome. It's where a woman is afraid to show vulnerability or uncertainty as she's navigating her career or business. It results, or it shows up as her craving real support and inspiration. Hey, Leah. And it often turns into her stagnating, burning out, beating yourself up because, you're swimming in this pool of uncertainty and self-doubt, and you're not really sure what actions to take, or if they are the right actions, or the what ifs, and oh my gods. Post a 3 if that sounds familiar. But that's really what this lonely leader syndrome looks like. It's us operating in isolation, retreating from, maybe our local community or networking opportunities. Hey, Karen, you're here as well. And I want to share why this happens, because this is so important. Sabrina says, preach, woohoo. Love that you ladies are here today. Okay, so there are 3 reasons why we can fall victim to, fall prey, and suffer from the lonely leader syndrome. Do you want to know what those are? The 3 reasons? Post a hells yeah. Natalie, you're resonating with this? Okay, here's the 3 reasons why we can begin to suffer from this lonely leader syndrome. Number 1, it's an issue of safety. Okay, that's number 1, issue of safety, thumbs up. It means that, whether this is a classic situation as an entrepreneur, maybe you are creating something brand new in the world, in the marketplace. And in the first few years, it's a very tender, vulnerable vision that you have. And you feel like you need to isolate and protect because even you don't have all the answers yet, right? And so when well-meaning friends and family say, how's that going? How's the business doing? Your default becomes, it's great, everything's awesome. When maybe privately you're like, I freaking can't figure out what I'm doing or what the right move is. So we put on this public face that everything is great and we isolate ourselves, right? It also happens in our career. Often I see this with independent professionals, so lawyers, people on the corporate side, mortgage brokers, people that have a very particular expertise, and they've put a lot of time and effort in developing that expertise professionally and academically, a lot of education and training, and they're working in an environment that is competitive, right? You'll see even with lawyers within the same firm are competing often for the same clients, and so they have to be protective of their network, their connections, because in order to succeed, they need to be, to keep that competitive edge. And so because of this protective nature, this, whether we need to because it's still an idea we're getting off the ground, or we're working in an environment that is naturally competitive, we don't feel safe being vulnerable, reaching out, making connections. Natalie says, if I had $1 for every time I responded, oh, I love it, things are going great. Exactly. Cindy, I wonder how you feel about this as well. And Tanya. So the first reason why we get caught and suffer from the lonely leader syndrome is this protective element. And it's not wrong, but it is a condition often of who we are as business leaders. The second, which is a great segue into the second reason why we suffer the lonely leader syndrome, and here it is. It's because we are unique. We are a special breed. Now, this doesn't mean we're better or worse than anybody else. I am not into, snobbery and being exclusive. But the fact of the matter is that if you have gravitated to a position of leadership, whether it's leading a corporate team or whether it's leading your own business or something in between, your own portfolio of clients, it means that you are a leader. And that is not what everyone is cut out for. In fact, your peer group across the population is very, very small of the women who have what it takes to be a truly inspiring leader. And so your peer group of who is going to get you, support you, understand what you're going through is relatively small. So it's not that you're a snob or you're exclusive. It's that the position you are in means that there are very few peers that get what you are up to. As an entrepreneur, as a leader, you are programmed to think differently, think bigger, take bigger risks, put yourself out there in ways that the vast majority of the population just don't get, and you kind of freak them out. So that's the second reason why we so often get caught in and suffer from the lonely leader syndrome, is simply because we are different than the majority of people. As specialists, as leaders, as entrepreneurs, That's what makes us great at what we do, is we think and operate differently. If that resonates with you, drop a, what number are we at? A 4 in the comments if that resonates with you, if you can relate to that. Hey, Sarah, thanks for being here. Leah says, so true in social marketing. Boom. Exactly. This is rampant on social media. Great segue, Leah, to the third reason why we suffer from the lonely leader syndrome, and it is this. Because we are also women of authenticity, high integrity, and have high ethical standards for how we operate, we know that we can't be hanging out, copying what everyone else is doing or on social media and taking other people's ideas and then adopting them as our own, because that goes against our core values of being authentic, being ourselves, and showing up as only we can. Natalie says 4, yes. And I find as we grow, succeed, and move up, we become more unique and even more different. Oh, yes, exactly. This is a perfect summary, Natalie, of this paradox, which I will get to in a second. But first, the third reason why we suffer from the lonely leader syndrome is that we often have to insulate ourselves from what everyone else is doing in the marketplace, particularly on social media, so that we can focus on truly only speaking our voice, truly only giving our genius out to the world, and not being some half-assed version of someone else. We have to, in some ways, buffer and isolate ourselves so that we can truly show up and be unique, but it comes at a cost. Cindy says 4, but I feel much less lonely of a leader being a part of this group. Oh, I love you too, ladies. I love it. So, Natalie, you had a great, you're leading us into what is this paradox as lonely leaders, is that in order to really truly succeed, be a magnetic leader, one that inspires your team, your business unit, and your clients, is that position demands that we are deeply supported and greatly inspired so that we can show up as our absolute best for whoever who needs us most. But it also creates a natural environment for us to be protective, isolate ourselves from others, and there just aren't a lot of people to link arms with because we aren't the common widget out there. We are unique creatures. So that is the paradox. It is that when we are in a position which demands the greatest support and inspiration, we often get the least inspiration and support unless we're truly conscious and take real action to create a remedy, create supports that solve this lonely leader syndrome. Okay? Andrew says, this happened to me this morning. I doubted myself for 90. Hey, if it was only 90 seconds, Andrea, high five. That's awesome. Okay. So I promised you ladies, actually, I want to do a bit of a check-in. What do you think of this? Any comments, questions, gut reactions at this very moment that you want to share before I get into a little bit more? Thoughts, questions, comments, post them now, because that's what this is all about. This isn't just about Heather talking. This is about us exchanging, inspiring, and supporting one another. So as you're typing those comments, I will continue. Sound good? Okay. All right. So I promised in my description as we were advertising today's Facebook Live Friday is that I was going to share the 3 ways that the lonely leader syndrome is crippling you. Okay? You ready for that? Pens at the ready? Vicky says, I just jumped on late, but feeling all of this. Awesome. Okay, not awesome, but it means you're in the right place. Okay, so the 3 ways that this lonely leader syndrome, this sneaky sickness, is crippling us, whether it's in our corporate career or whether it's as, building our own empire. Here they are, 3 ways. The first way is that it cuts us off from the very creativity, the fuel, the inspiration, the juiciness, the lifeblood that truly creates a banging business, a strong leader, and makes us magnetic to our clients. That is one of the primary and most painful ways that it is crippling our success, is that it cuts us off from that creativity, the inspiration, the ideas, the spark, the juice that we need to continue to operate at a high level. Andrew says, it's easy to think that you are doing it wrong when you look around and see other people doing it differently. Yeah, exactly. That's point number 3 that we talked about just a second ago. Okay, the second way that this lonely leader syndrome is crippling you is that, and this is what you're talking about, Andrea, is that it erodes your confidence, okay? Because when you're isolating, when you're protecting, when other people don't naturally get who you are, how you think and operate, it leads you to kind of isolate, to go inside of yourself. And after a period of time, you begin to buy into and think believe your own false thoughts. And those thoughts like, this is too hard, I can't do it, I'm not worth it, I'm not good enough, this is never gonna happen, right? Those nasty, I call it the dark spiral of despair. Those thoughts, you begin to buy into those thoughts because you have no one else around you that can say, hey, wait a minute, honey, actually, you're a lot more awesome than you're giving yourself credit, and can reflect all of the great things that you are doing and achieving, because oftentimes our brain is trained to only see the crap. And when we're operating in isolation, we begin to believe all of the crap. So Natalie says, this is so real. Sometimes I avoid an interaction with my support network because I know that what I have to say is so different. Yeah, it is tough. It is the toughest thing we will ever do to continue to be different. And when I mean different, I mean uniquely ourselves. Awesome. Love this comment. Love it. Love that you ladies are resonating and sharing your own experiences here with the lonely leader syndrome. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Checking my time. Third way that the lonely leader syndrome is crippling you in your business or career is that, and this is kind of cumulative, right? First, you cut yourself off from the creativity that's going to keep you in action and in inspiration. Then your confidence starts to erode because you don't have that inspiration and creativity. And then you start to buy into those false beliefs like, maybe I can't do this, maybe I am crazy, like they say. And number 3, then you start not taking action on the precious ideas that you do have or the opportunities that do fall in your lap because you're still in that spiral of doubt. Maybe this isn't right. Maybe it's not going to pan out. Maybe I'm just deluding myself, whatever it is. You stop taking the necessary action to keep moving forward. You miss opportunities. You miss income-making ideas because there isn't the accountability and there isn't the consistency that you need to keep moving forward. So those are the 3 painful ways that the lonely leader syndrome is crippling you in your career or business. Now, all of this translates into those ugly outcomes like low income, low impact, and high stress. So what are we at? A number 6, if any of that resonates with you. Income that you're not excited about, frustration because you're not reaching the size of community or making the impact that you wanted to. And number 7, feeling really stressed about all of it. Natalie says, oh, she said the A word. Accountability. Yeah, I did. Accountability and consistency. So, ladies, I said in the beginning of this Facebook Live that I was going to share something brand new with you that I am, I'll be honest, a little nervous about. But incredibly excited about that I am launching for 2018. And it is directly related to this lonely leader syndrome. You know, as a success coach for some pretty amazing women, some of whom are here on the Facebook Live today, I see this suffering going on across the board for a lot of women, regardless of whether you are living in a huge, million people population or whether you are, operating your business from behind your home computer in rural Saskatchewan. It affects all of us. And so I have really been called to create a community for high caliber, high commitment women across the globe so that they are no longer suffering from this lonely leader syndrome. I know how it crippled my own business in the first 5-6 years of operating, and I know how painful it can be for many of you. And so I've had a reputation for many years now for attracting truly high caliber business women, whether they're on the corporate side or whether they are on the entrepreneurial side. And I am so incredibly grateful for how that has happened. I don't claim to understand the magic that is, but I know that I continue to attract really high caliber, but low ego and authentic women into this community and into my business as a coach. And so it really is a vision, it is a purpose that I feel called to fulfill, which is to go to the next step and create an intimate community for my clients who can link arms with other women around the globe. Now, here's what I know about what I am offering, and this is all coming together in the next month or 45 days, is that I will be creating an opportunity to work with me that will exist for, or will invite existing clients into, but is also open to new clients who are the lonely leader, who are leading a business or leading a team on the corporate side who feel lonely, but who are craving the inspiration, the support, the community that they need to continue to operate at a high level for masterminding, for brainstorming, for a loving kick in the pantyhose when we need it, the accountability and the support we need to continue to serve at a high level in our careers. So, this is my vision. It is a vision of real women, not perfect bots, not women that have everything figured out, nor do they have a high ego. And they know that they don't have it all figured out, but they know they've got a great thing going. They know what their genius and their jam is, and they want to take it to the next level. Real women, a community of real connection, which means weekly inspiration. It means monthly masterminding and brainstorming, and it means live events where we can physically get in the room together, have a spotlight on your business, your challenges, and your vision, and all of us jumping in together to create a really elegant strategy around your biggest problems and your biggest goals. Natalie says, I like this idea. Mwah! Thank you very much, Natalie. I hope that you and many of you do. In fact, I'll be honest, Natalie, as I'm, coming to this vision and putting the legs around this, I'm creating this based on the experiences I've had with clients in this community. What else? So real women, real connection. And I'm not talking about like a few posts on social media or a phone call once in a while, but a real deep community of high caliber, low ego women with high commitment to their awesomeness that can get in the room and support each other. Now, this often means that it's women that are going to be coming from around the globe. Remember, because you are such a unique creature, you don't have a lot of peers in your local community or local business, and you still want to have that sense of privacy, that sense of safety. And it comes by linking arms with women who are different experts, people who are not necessarily in your particular field, but can inspire you with their ideas and their experiences and bring that to your success. So real women, real connection, and by God, real friggin' results. I am sick and tired of seeing online groups or group coaching programs that promise the world but deliver very little. So it's really for a community of women who have a big vision, who have big goals, and really want the support to create those results. Pardeep, hey Pardeep, you're here as well. Awesome. So this is what I am creating. It is for unshakable business leaders who are current clients of mine, but also for client or individuals who are craving that type of community. Real connection, real women, real friggin' results. So if that calls to you, I would love for you to reach out to me. I am just putting the details and spit and polish on this opportunity. But if you know that you are suffering from the lonely leader syndrome, or that you suspect that that is one of the reasons that your business or career is not taking off at the pace that you envisioned and know is possible for you, then reach out to me and let's have a conversation. You know, ladies, I'm not into high pressure sales, and this is not an opportunity for everyone. You know that. It is only by private invitation or application, because what's going to make this community truly transformational for the women who join and are a part of it is that it is a highly curated group of women. That means no trolls, flakes, or drama queens. It is smart ladies going awesome places. So if you think that would be a benefit to you, reach out to me. I'm still putting the legs and the details around this together. So I'd love to know your feedback and opinion on what that is and how it takes shape. So that's what I wanted to share with you ladies today on our Facebook Live Friday about the lonely leader syndrome. Last thing is I want to say, did you enjoy the content that I shared today? Post what are we at? 8? Post an 8 in the comments below if you love what I'm sharing today, and I could actually talk about this subject many times over, so I may be sharing other elements or expanding on points in future Facebook Lives. Natalie says, bringing the group together face to face with a global perspective is going to be so powerful. You know, I have number 8s all over the place. Woohoo! Thank you, Sabrina, Andrea. You're absolutely right, Natalie. I have often said on Facebook Lives in the past that what is personal is universal. And whether you are a lawyer in London or whether you are an entrepreneur in, Edam, Saskatchewan, as big thinking, intelligent business leaders, there are many personal issues that we struggle with that are universal. And that when you get a community of really well-aligned, talented women together, magical things happen. And that's really what this is about. It's about creating a magical space for this group of women and creating real awesome results. Cindy says, 8, so awesome. Thank you for this community. Mwah. And Nicole, you are here as well. Happy belated birthday. Vicky, the rest of you ladies, thank you for being here. Ladies, if you're watching the replay, post replay in the comments. Continue to post your comments and questions to this video, whether you're, when you're watching the replay, and I will continue to come back and answer and respond to those comments and questions. Love the conversation here today. You are going to hear me talking a lot about community in the coming weeks because I am lit up about creating this in 2018 so that you can truly link arms and find the community you need to continue to be that unshakable business leader that I know you already are. You just want to go to the next level. So thanks for taking your time out today on this Friday to be with me and the rest of us. Love you ladies always. Reach out if it feels right for you. In the meantime, have a great Friday and we will talk again very soon. Mwah! Love you ladies. Looking at the comments. Great. All right. Take care. Have a great Friday.